And jolly good morning to everyone. Back at Lee Farm. Apologies for the break in transmission. I have had a little holiday. Right in front of Ron's hide is the left-hand side of the old island. Has now been truncated, shall we say, into what will be a much more low-lying, muddy, sedgy area that will. It's aimed to attract more things like snipe, and the aim of the ditch is to provide a specific island, not an islet, accessible to predators like foxes. So we've now turned it into an island, and walking down the side. A later addition to the plans was to continue that new ditch into the new reed bed. So there is a long continuous ditch running all the way through the reed bed. The water has come up during excavation and is approximately 5 to 7 inches below average. So what we're looking at here will of course be underwater in average and winter conditions, and in medium low summer as they are now, this will look somewhat like this. But with the reed transplanting we will be doing over the next 3+ years, pretty much everything you're looking at, with the exception of half of the ditch, will be back to Phragmites. But ahead here, with again the ditch on the sort of last third of the open water, will be one of our largest areas of reed. I'm loving this bank in front of me here, because this is where, yes, there will be Phragmites, but there will also be a sedge line, since the bank is always going to be out of the water with the exception of heavy flooding conditions. And this bank will be filled with sedges, which we will cut annually with our first cut will be with a tractor flail to make short work of it, and what we're walking along now will be full of snipe. Little clumps of reed that we will leave will be little hiding spots for water rail, anything else for that matter, and it'll all flatten out as the winter water levels rise and ebb and flow. So looking back in this early morning light, that bank is going to contain a lot of easily cuttable reed, and panning left over the sedges, which were purposely put here so that they would not form a large high wall of reed to see through. The other side, that's where the Phragmites will grow, all over the visible mud there. And hard to see in this light, but there are a few spots of mud that are a little bit higher than we would have ideally had. But even with big diggers, there are some practicalities that aren't always easy to overcome. Panning left, I'll walk to the other end as well anyway, so the light isn't against us. It's still pretty wet. It will dry out. One of the difficulties they had driving down this track and excavating was that there wasn't enough room to swing the cab of our excavator. Walking left, looking across the northeast corner, you'll quickly see where we've started to pile up some of the gravel. It would have always been invisible from the hide anyway, and this gravel will be pushed into a shape, lozenge shape if you like, hugging the contour of the north spit, but about half the length it was before. It just narrowed to a narrow point of shingle. So we're bringing that all together, consolidating it into a space with half the length, but bringing the height up And right in front here, as I said in an earlier video, from where the Phragmites is coming down the front of the pilot reed at the moment, we'll create a ditch around about the same size as the one we've just been looking at, so approximately 2.5, 3 meters, 1 meter deeper into the low-lying water, so it is going to be an island all year round, and it'll be approximately the same size as the shingle island in the middle of the lake behind over there. And this is going to be a new tern colony, and with a bit of luck we'll get at least 1 species of wader on here. 2 would be fantastic if we got the capacity. Panning back round along the west side of the northeast bay, I'm standing pretty much in front of or underneath the hide that will be, and there's a little bit of finishing off to be done here, and but essentially we're looking at reed bed of the west side of the northeast bay, and the ditch is pretty much complete, and there is about another roughly 1/2 meter of spoil to come off of this, and my aim is for that to go out into the bay in sort of a peninsular shape. Looking back, I'll walk backwards from here. See the ditch a bit better. Might be able to make out the height of the land slightly better from here. Ditch in front. It's we're adding about 5-6 meters in front here. There'll be some reed growth into the ditch here, and panning over to the left, things start to widen out. So I've walked right over into not a very far northeast corner, but up against the edge of Lodgewood, and you can see the footprint of what will be nearby will all be reed. I wanted the marsh out to the right hand swan, but I think the marsh is only going to be extending to the left hand swan nearest the bank, so about 40 feet at best, give or take. Where I'm stood, they can only take about another, you might get away with about 18 inches off the bottom of the ground here, but yeah, so there's going to be some strategic placing of the spoil up near and beyond where the swan is to get the marsh distributed in sort of a lot of areas, but it'll still be good. Look, this is going to be an amazing project for us, and it's going to be fantastic. So looking forward to seeing this in another week's time. I will give a interim report again so we can see what it looks like, and looking forward to the end result.